All right, we should be live. Uh, Welcome to the 31st episode of the PiP Podcast. As always, I am Jacob, and I am here, my good friend Khalid.
How's it going?
Would you like to talk about some of the topics you've accumulated, or do you want to start with gaming?
You can start with gaming. I know you had a nice treasure trove.
I would say that's an over-exaggeration, but today, I don't think it's not. It's not an over-exaggeration. Okay, wait. Let me pull it up real quick. I'm actually pulling up the chat first, so I can have it on my second monitor. All right. Well, minimize that. Is there one up here that I would like to start with? Russ, no, we're going to start with CD Projekt Red. And then if I hit this button, let me make sure there's nothing on the screen that's like not good. All right. Now everyone can see the article that I am looking at. So CD Projekt Red has recently been hacked. With several company documents and source codes for their games being stolen under ransom. Now, you may not think that's a big deal, but certain games don't release those things because it makes it easier to mod, from my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I don't think, like Call of Duty games, World at War, and some Black Ops games, they release the code to where you can make modded zombies maps. The original Black Ops, to my understanding, you could not play a modded zombies maps because they never released the code for it.
Exactly.
So if a developer doesn't want to release it, they have that right. But these people are like, give us money or we're going to release the code.
What if it's a different ransom? What if it's fake Cyberpunk 2077 or 77? I want my game right.
So, the Cyberpunk 2077 developers announced that the hacking had taken place on Twitter. I don't know how that works.
I do not.
But also sharing the rather cringy ransom note left behind by the hackers. The note claims that the source code for Cyberpunk 2077, Witcher 3, Gwent, and a unreleased version of The Witcher 3 has been stolen. Documents relating to the accounting, administration, legal, HR, investor relations, and more are also allegedly compromised. CDPR hasn't explicitly confirmed or stated what data has been dumped, saying the hackers gained access to certain data belonging to CD Projekt Red Capital Group. They also assure people that currently there is no evidence to suggest that any personal data of players was stolen. So, the ransom note claims CD Projekt Red has been epically pwned.
Wow, I can't take it serious.
Yeah.
It sounds like someone from like Grand Theft Auto or Saints Row. It sounds like dialogue from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a silly character just saying that. That's so weird. Do you think it could be a publicity stunt? I don't think they would do that though. Or even someone who's works within CD Projekt Red now doing it to try to help CD Projekt Red.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure, honestly. The hackers also managed to encrypt CD Projekt Red servers. Though the company has confirmed their backups remain intact, they have secured their IT infrastructure and begun restoring the data. Basically, the hackers go in, take some stuff, and was like, "We're gonna lock your servers down.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do anything about it." But I don't think the hackers are smart enough. If they are real and it's not some stunt, they're not smart enough to know that big companies have backups if they're good companies. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, dang, I know they didn't do that great of a job with Cyberpunk, but I don't think they deserve this. If anything, they're slowing down the repairment.
Exactly.
Cyberpunk.
Exactly.
Cody in the chat says friggin' pwned.
Cody. Be careful. CD Projekt Red thinks it's gonna be them. He's gonna get a knock at his door. It's gonna be a guy dressed up like Geralt and someone dressed up like Cyberpunk person, like but acting super official.
It's funny because they would be like, "We know the target. The Twitch username is Huff and Paint for Jesus." It's the funniest Twitch username I've seen in a while.
But we have to be careful and show some kind of caution. He has those sick parries.
Oh, Cody, you can't get pwned if you hit him with that sick, mad parry. Maybe they'll even put you on the news.
All right.
So, E3 will return for 2021 as a online event.
Yes. Yeah.
I saw that, and I'm actually kind of happy for it. A lot of gaming news comes from E3, I feel like. So, when all these gaming conventions were getting canceled, of course, 2020, I was like big sad. And it wasn't a unified event anymore. It was like all these games were like, we gotta make our own event now, our own little web like live stream or something, and not many people go to watch the individual stuff. In my opinion, I feel like under like an umbrella of just a convention, they're like, oh, that's cool. That's how like lower indie games get their name out and stuff. So I wonder if they'll put indie games in E3, like the live stream version.
Yeah.
Because from my understanding, they could get like stalls at the convention, stuff like that.
Interesting.
It is the current state of the pandemic, blah, blah, blah. ESA has confirmed that plans for a 2021 event are moving ahead. VGC report says pitch documents sent to game publishers lays out plans for 3 days of live stream coverage running June 15th to 17th. The E3 2021 dates were announced last year. So, it's good. Bro, Elden Ring's a myth. Get out of here. The chat. Oh, this is cool. You go ahead. You go ahead, and I'll pull us to another thing.
I was just thinking about, was there any Elden News Ring? Let me look at Elden Ring news.
So, have you heard of Valheim? It is... I don't know much about it. I will say that. I do know other live streamers have been playing it, such as Gassy Mexican. I saw him playing it. It's a Viking game I think Noah would like. It's a Viking survival game. It's a co-op one as well. So, in just a week of early access, it's already cracked the 100,000 concurrent player count and the top 10 lists on Steam. But this particular article is about a mysterious mythical figure is stalking different Valheim players. From what it looks like, I guess it's Odin because it has one glowing eye. Let's see here. And as players build forts, battle monsters, and sail further into the world, occasionally sailing a bit too far, they are also making discoveries about what's out there on Valheim's startlingly massive map. So it's weird. It's basically just a picture of a weird robed figure with a staff, one glowing eye. Sounds pretty cool. I don't know. I'm gonna look into it. Includes a few mysteries. Several players have reported spotting someone else in the world, a mysterious shadowy figure that appears to be watching them. This character has been described as wearing a hood or cloak and appears to be holding a staff or cane. Some people say, or one player on Reddit described it as looks like Obi-Wan from Star Wars, but with the staff from Gandalf.
The Old Father, Grimnir, helped inspired both of those characters, so it makes sense. Good old Odin.
So apparently he gets spotted in the swamps biome and vanishes when he's approached or attacked. One player thought it was a Grim Reaper and said the figure's eyes were glowing red and was holding a scythe. Others thought it might be a wraith, a spectral enemy in Valheim that also wears dark hoods, spawns in the swamp biome. The most popular theory is that the figure is in fact Odin, the Allfather, basically the top dog in Norse mythology.
Yeah, go ahead and talk like that, dude.
I would think it's Odin, mainly based on the first picture they show of one eye glowing. Other than that, I'm not sure what all it is. It kind of sounds like an open world game.
Exciting.
It's a survival game, so I guess it is kind of open world.
Best way to survive: don't get killed by Odin.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a perfect way to not die. Did you find anything on Elden Ring?
Unfortunately, things were like Elden Ring fans get excited and then get disappointed. It's not going to be a traditional.
Like
So it won't be a traditional Souls-like, and then just speculations on Martin's like role.
Ninja threatens to quit Fortnite for good over stream sniping.
What? Like
he's getting stream sniped in Fortnite, so he's threatening to quit.
It's my concept when it comes to like cheating in games and so forth. It's just kind of like, why? You have to be the very best, like no one ever was, by not being the best. I mean, like it's stolen valor in its own right. Like you didn't do anything special.
So, just a little paragraph as to why, like, what exactly happened. So, I guess it's not really a paragraph. He got big over Fortnite, right?
Yeah.
He's moved on to other games, but he's come back to Fortnite again. After being allegedly sniped by the same player several games in a row, he just threatened to quit it, like stop streaming the game, not playing it, just everything like that. Stating it's the same. It's the same people doing it over and over. It's retarded.
I wonder could they find the name and then just ban the names and ban them off the streams?
He can, but I think See, I've always wondered about that. I wonder if Twitch. I don't think Twitch can IP ban someone because that would ban them from the whole site, to my knowledge. So that means that you can't talk in chat, or you can just make a new account and go watch it again.
Yeah.
Or at the same time, how can he ban the person from his stream if he doesn't know their Twitch name?
Exactly. That's what I was wondering. But just a thought. It'd be interesting to somehow catch them.
Well, just continue to go down the list. Apex Legends Bunker Pass is once again a death trap thanks to Fuse. So you wouldn't know this. There's a bunker. Oh wait, Cody says something on the last thing. If they went the ban route, they would just get overwhelmed by numbers. Yeah. I think if someone like Ninja banned someone, I don't think anyone would really care for stream snipers on Twitch, honestly. Anyway, so back to the Apex thing. Apex Legends Bunker Pass is once again a death trap thanks to Fuse. So the bunker, there's like a giant wall of rock, right? And you can go around it. Apex Legends is, in my opinion, known for a few things. One of those things being its great movement system. Whereas Call of Duty, in my opinion, pales to it pales to compare to the movement of Apex. Apex to me feels very like you're almost like water with how smooth you go. Like you can tell when you get shot. You can tell all of that. It's just you can move and go into sliding and like make, the best way to put it is like combo movements very easily. Whereas Call of Duty isn't like that. But again, Call of Duty's more into like realistic than Apex is. So
I think I would say that only like Infinite Warfare touched into that just with its vertical footwork and its boosting and sliding and so forth.
Yeah, I can agree with that. That was the only reason I bought that game was just to mess around with the jumping system. That particular one, I was like, okay, I gotta try it out. But basically, it's a narrow tunnel through those rocky mountainous, rocky mountains that make a wall to the other side. So it's a very thin, narrow hallway. It has a couple of rooms, but they don't lead anywhere, more or less. It's literally just one hallway through the mountain with loot rooms. And it used to be a death trap. It's gotten very easy post season 8 to go through. Like, even I used to never go through there the first few seasons, but when I came back to start playing with Josh and everyone, I was like, okay, all right, I can go through here. It's not that bad. But I haven't played the new character Fuse. I will say Josh has been playing it, and from what I've seen, oh my god. I can see why it's a death trap. Because Fuse, whereas all the other characters can only hold like one grenade per like cell storage slot or whatever, Fuse can now hold 2. So he's already doubled his like explosive capacity because he's all about explosions.
Oh yeah,
he has a gauntlet that you shove a grenade into and it launches the grenade even farther than normal. His other ability is he can throw a grenade and it keeps exploding. Like that I believe they had it. I don't know. It sounds like the decoy from Call of Duty, how it just like randomly explodes every now and then.
I think in the Willy Wonka game we call it the everlasting gobstop.
Yes. But as long as the way Josh described it, as long as he held the button, it keeps exploding. But I thought it just kept exploding on its own, which that alone makes the room like a death trap. But on both sides, once you leave, there's only like one way to leave, and it's a giant doorway. So even if you're far away, you can tell when it's open. Fuse's ability, honestly, pretty garbage alone, but it makes like a giant ring of napalm around a certain, like a targeted area. It's not that good if it's alone. But if you get like another assault legend like Gibraltar, well, he's defense, but he has an assault ultimate. And then just I don't remember her name. The ultimate though, multiple characters have it. It's just like a airstrike. The fire is only meant to trap people in it. I don't think it kills you instantly, but it does a lot of damage if you walk through it. I think it might even burn you in a way to where you just keep taking a little bit more damage. But if you combine that ring with someone else's ultimate, it could be really bad in a good way for you. Anyway, I think the new hero is way better than Rampart when she came out last season, or the season before last. Rampart was OP. Fuse is not OP. Because Rampart, you can put up like shields, and they're little walls, but above the wall is where like a glass, like a bulletproof glass thing would go, but it's like a force field. Enemy bullets can't go through it, but if you shoot your bullets through it, they're like buffed. And I'm not sure if this is correct, but I believe what people would do is they would put them in a row, because you could place like 3 of them down, and then she would use her ultimate and bring out her giant like turret and shoot through them, and it would be like you would just like die instantly if you were shot by it. Would you like to swap to some of the topics that you have before we continue with any gaming ones?
Well, it's going to stay into the realm of games, so but in the broader spectrum of it. So let's see, give me one moment. Got a mess. So, have you heard about McDonald's? They're celebrating Pokemon's 25th anniversary. Have you heard about that?
I have. I know what you're about to say.
So, instead of Happy Meals bringing said happiness to children, there's a group of adults that are buying up Happy Meals by the 5s, 10s to even, I think, 50. I think maybe 50 was the highest one so far. So they're buying up all these cards, all these Happy Meals, and then just trying to find these cards. And it's very funny because it was just like there's like records being broken and so forth, and they're not eating the food; they're throwing the food away. On top of that, and then just going through, and there's like these Let's Opens and all these different like Twitter people and Twitch people doing this. And it's just like, and some people are like, there's not really a single person that has more than 5 kids. McDonald's is also to blame, because why are they allowing people to go, hey, can I have a 60 Happy Meals kind of thing? So I don't know. And
I do have an opinion on this.
Go ahead. What's your opinion on it?
I have a couple. My first opinion is I don't see why they would waste the food. Like by throwing it away, it's like get something that's universally liked, right? There's a couple of ways they could do this to make it not as bad. Get things universally liked because it's a Happy Meal. Get nuggies. Get some French fries. The apple slices. Everyone likes apples for the most part. Right? Either you take the toys and you're like, good, I'm going to keep these. If you live in a big city and you're doing it because you're stupid like that, at least give the food to some homeless like person you see help them out. It's like you already have it, you're not eating it. Or don't just throw it away. That's a waste. Just take it home, put it in like a container. Some people say they don't like re-warmed up like French fries. So like my retort to that is, I know people, I think even maybe Noah hasn't done it, but I feel like this is something he could do that would make him like it. Noah makes a lot of stir fry. I'm sure if you cut them up and put them in stir fry, they'd taste better.
Yes, riced potatoes. Yes, or even turn them into half.
Yeah, it's like there's no reason to waste it. That's my opinion on the food side. On the card side, from a collector, I can see why they're doing it. From a Twitch like viewer and streamer, I know that it's perpetrated by everyone on Twitch opening Pokemon cards and paying an unreasonable amount of money for some of these like first edition boxes, because that's what's been happening. Is since like Twitch, because like there's always been like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh stuff on YouTube, but they can only get so big because they're growing in a small community of people that always like playing the cards, not just collecting them in a way, right?
Exactly.
The people on Twitch are, for one, bigger than just that like one community. They stretch over multiple ones because they could play multiple different games. And they're opening it. Pokemon cards, I believe, reach a lot of people's nostalgia points because as children they would play Pokemon, or teenagers Pokemon, like the video games or the card game.
Yes.
So it's like, if you think about it, really, they did an excellent job on Twitch, and now it's just like turned into something bad for kids. Yeah. If you're a kid now. Yeah.
And so that's the funny thing is, like, they have these individuals and they'll do that one because like there's the other one where they with magic cards. I've seen this with magic cards where they'll go and open magic card packs and so forth. And yeah, just with the concepts of, Pokemon has still kept its strength, if not became stronger, especially with Go and especially with lockdowns or quarantines kind of thing. People are figuring out, hey, I'm dusting off my old systems. I'm going to do stuff. Well, I don't go for a walk. And so Pokemon is that friend that you forgot about kind of thing. But thinking even about like Fortnite in some aspects in these communities where you're playing a game and then you hear a little person's voice come on where kids just like, yay. And they're like, oh my God, it's ruined by kids. The kids are making it bad. A kid cursed me on Call of Duty. And you're just like, well, what are you doing as an adult to make sure this doesn't happen? And fast forward, you have adults taking Pokemon cards from kids out of kids' mills. And again, it goes to the like majority not eating the food. And you're just like, these kids aren't going to go, when I grow up, I'm going to be a better person. You might have your few, but then you have the other ones that are like, I'm going to watch the world burn too, you know? so the next time they hear a little kid on Call of Duty no-scoping them, like just talking complete trash about them, it's like, well, did you create this child some way? Did you create this little monster that could have just had a happy meal and happily played Pokemon, but now is a little savage? So, I don't know. It's a very interesting concept in that one.
You see, in a weird way, I stand on this with like a lot of different things. I've said it before. If a company does something in such a way to where it can be abused and someone sees it and abuses it, and like they see it and they abuse it, but the company, it's like an easily thing that could be fixed throughout the company, right? So there's that. But it's like, you got to give them a little bit of respect. It's like they saw an opening, they took it. These are the people that, I don't know, they can see it, they can take it. They have a little bit of respect. It's like, I see
can't.
you. I don't like what you did, but I know you did it.
I mean, I can't applaud like an opportunist just because when a raccoon sees trash and spews it everywhere, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, ooh, you played the games. Like, nah, you really just were a douche. Like, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, that guy was mastermind moves right there. Homie had mastermind moves. Like, no, you're a Karen. Like, you're just a Karen of the game world now. You soccer mommed in there and just did it because you wanted it. Like, I mean, I can understand the person's like, what I did is first I got this one Happy Meal, then I talked to a McDonald's guy. He's like, hold on, let me talk to a manager. The manager talks to the CEO of McDonald's, and then he's like, hey, kid, I like your cut of your jib. I'm gonna give you some free Pokemon cards. Oh man, that's making big moves. Those are just like neckbeards doing terrible things kind of thing. It's not really like a fungus. They're like a fungal infection is what they are. Like, oh, I forgot to change my socks and now my foot is green. Like, they're not changing the game. They're just rotting it. I can't applaud.
I didn't say they were changing the game. I just said they took an opportunity that no one else was going to take.
I mean, obviously,
we can agree to disagree. That's fine. I was just stating. I've said it before. Like, that's.
Yeah, it's the thing. I wouldn't have respect for any of them. The word respect wouldn't fall unless diss is put in there somewhere. Yeah.
I don't think they should do it with Pokemon cards. I think they should do it for something else.
Yeah.
But I will say this. The only other time I've said that has to do with another card thing. Like a TCG thing.
Yeah.
Do you have something else to bring to the table?
I have a few. Were you still having any game news?
Oh, I have like 8 more.
Okay. So reportedly, kind of jumping off the ideas of games, it's very interesting. I can branch 2 different ways. But Jason Momoa of like Aquaman and Conan and some other things he's been in was reportedly offered the role of Knuckles in Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
That's strange.
It is. I don't know how that will go. I mean, like, Knuckles, granted, like, has never had a voice in the video games to begin with, obviously, just because of the technology of Sega. So how did he sound? But when they finally gave him a voice, Jason Momoa's isn't really what you think would be coming out of it.
I don't know how I don't even remember his voice, to be honest.
Deeper bass. Not really the Echidna Knuckles kind of sound to it.
I knew that. It's just I didn't think his voice was like notable in a specific way.
I mean, it is, but again, like if you go to like Khal Drogo or even think of him as Aquaman, he sounds like a bro. Like, and maybe if they did jacked Knuckles, then it'd be perfect. But just like skinny Echidna from Sonic 3 fame, then no, not really.
I think it would be hilarious if they're just using him because he has a deeper voice. I would have much. Well, okay. I'll go into something else after I say this. I would like them to use like Corpse Husband as it instead if it's for deepness, because oh my god, that would blow someone's mind off. But again, I can see them using his voice solely to like use his fame.
Yeah. Like,
which is what I would believe he's doing, unless he really likes Sonic. In that case, maybe that's why.
Like, he has dreads, Knuckles has tendril dread things. Maybe that's it. Yeah, because there really wouldn't be anything alike in any ways.
Alrighty. Well, here, let's swap back over to this real quick. So, Rust is adding a new, like a soft core mode to make its opening hours less brutal. I don't. So it says software game mode. See, this is coming after all the streamers made their own server.
Yeah.
And I feel like it has to be because of them. Because old school Rust players, they know, like me, Noah, they know the grind. The grind is real. There's combat like like you could look at somebody from like in the distance. You can be on like a hill and see someone running. If they see you and you're not like immediately aggressive towards them, like so you're not going to chase after them, but they see you, they'll probably be immediately aggressive towards you because they want the upper hand. And I'm okay with that because I enjoy PvP games.
Yeah.
New players aren't, because a lot of the newer players are coming from Twitch, and a lot of these older, like big high name streamers that got big off of streaming Fortnite, I feel appeal to a younger audience.
Exactly.
So they haven't experienced the heartbreak of getting like, I don't know, raided 20 times in a row.
It will be interesting that it would be very strange to see, because is Rust an official game, or is it still like early access things? Like, what is that one with Rust?
It's released. It was early access like when I was in middle school, I think.
Because I mean, wait, is Fortnite still early access?
I don't know about Fortnite, bro. I don't keep up with that.
But yeah, but just that's very interesting to see. Like, there with that being introduced, there's a likely world where you'll see like Rust T-shirts, and you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
where there's like the little people now playing Rust, enjoying it.
I've said, legitimately, them making a softcore thing is probably the best thing they could do.
Yeah,
because offline TV, like their server, their idea, single-handedly brought Rust back to like being a big game. And it's early access, and like I'm not saying it was small, I'm just saying that no one watched it, and newer players weren't going to it because it wasn't on the front page of Steam. It wasn't like that. For the past few months, I will say this, unless when you buy it, it doesn't show you that it's on the front page. I'm not sure about that because I bought it for a long time, so could be wrong there. I will say, while watching Twitch, until they made the offline TV server, I didn't even know that people streamed Rust. I didn't even know that was a thing that people did. I just thought they made YouTube videos because streaming Rust is kind of iffy. There's a lot of gamer words.
Oh yeah.
But software mode, probably the best thing they could do to appeal to the newer audiences. I know the newer Rust community was getting a lot of hate. Like the offline TV server was getting a lot of hate from older Rust streamers that I didn't know existed. Just making that clear. Didn't know they existed. And the main gripe is that their offline TV, they had like all that drama where people were just like murdering people for no reason on the server.
Yeah.
That's just native to Rust. So the older streamers are just like, I can't believe you're blowing that out of proportion. Like, that's just a daily thing that happens on Rust.
It sounds like Chinatown, like old reference, but that just happens in Chinatown. Like,
it's basically what it is.
You have to accept it by some gruff Rust streamer. That's just the nature, kid. It just happens. Welcome to Rust. Like, get out of here.
But yeah, that's all I have to say on that. I think it's a good idea.
It'll be interesting. I'm very interested to see what that entails, especially with like people do revisit Minecraft, but I know there's people who want to jump off of Minecraft.
Yeah.
And even Fortnite in itself, and Rust kind of, without having to be considered a clone or a Minecraft-like or a Fortnite-like, it's just the idea is a survival game. It'd be very interesting what that causes.
Yeah. Like, I enjoy going back to Minecraft. Like, every once in a while, I'll go there. I'll put in my 10 days of Minecraft and then leave again for like a few months.
Yeah.
Rust, every now and then I load it up. Sometimes without getting a group together. That's when I die. So, moving off of Rust, Warzone will carry on into the this year's Call of Duty. So Activision isn't saying who's making it, but like the turning of the seasons doesn't take a fortune teller to predict that there will be a new Call of Duty coming out with Activision this year. They noted that Call of Duty Warzone would continue through the year's entry, keeping the Battle Royale going for another year, which is good. I feel like it does have, I feel like it has room. I just wish the map would change.
Yeah.
I feel like they could do what Apex does. Apex, I think, does a really good job of changing the map up, where they keep the same map layout. They just progress what's on the map. Like I've said, the beginning of Apex, most of the buildings were just scaffolding. Now, like in Apex, those buildings that were just scaffolding has like grown up. The best example I can give is last season there was a little rinky-dink like slum town in a puddle of water. This season it's like a whole complex in that puddle of water. It's not just a slum. I think they keep the same map fresh by changing it a little bit, not the whole thing. Whether it be just little buildings or, I don't know, maybe a volcano erupted, something like that.
Someone baked a cake.
Someone baked a cake. It's now in the corner.
Different game. I will say about Call of Duty, I feel whenever Activision goes, you know what, we're gonna take a time off. Like, we'll take 2 years off, meaning there won't be games for either like them or their whatever offshoot publisher, whatever. If they take 2 years off, the game that they will reintroduce, Call of Duty, I feel will be the best Call of Duty, hands down. Like, and it would cause it for years to come to be the best Call of Duty. They'll just like stop. We'll do some developing. We wanted to like rework things from the ground up. I bet that Call of Duty would just be like, what were you waiting for?
I can see that. I can see Call of Duty taking a year for some R&R and some R&D.
And then it'll be all like, just because you know how who was it in this one? Well, some of the other ones had stars, actual like actors in them.
Yeah.
And so
Ghost is like Snoop Dogg and stuff like that.
Well, let's go. let's see. So there's Kevin Spacey in Infinite Warfare, and then
Oh, you're talking. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
and then Kip Harrington. So like actually in the game as like either antagonist or protagonist. I think all the actors have been
You see,
antagonists.
I don't play Call of Duty Story. I just play
Yeah.
the multiplayer. So I didn't know what you meant at first. When I said Snoop Dogg, I meant Snoop Dogg for the multiplayer, like voice
Yeah.
lines.
That one was fun. Like again, Ghost stuck out as being one of my favorite Call of Duties. Even though it's funny because I was like, I can't really call myself like a avid fan of Call of Duty, but I enjoy every one of them. I think maybe that's the reason why, because I can't like I'm not a big fan, so each one comes out, I treat it like its own game, just with the Call of Duty title or moniker added to it. So I've enjoyed all of them that I've played.
I can say that I enjoy all Call of Duty games, but since I only play the multiplayer, I just put them under Call of Duty.
No, makes sense.
While it's the same, they change it they do it like the Apex map with multiplayer. At least they change it little bits. Sometimes it's balancing, just stuff like that. It makes it more digestible, I guess, from going from game to game for multiplayer users, at least. Don't have to relearn everything. So here's another thing. I have two more Call of Duty things we could talk about. Let's get those out of the way. Call of Duty Cold War pros are placing in the lowest bracket of the new ranked mode.
Wow.
So Cold War's new league play mode is a bit confusing, according to this article. Players are starting to suspect that its ranking system isn't hitting the mark. Several Cold War pros report they've been placed in the bottom tier competitor ranking following their 5 placement matches.
Wow.
That's pretty like whoa when you have like pro players just being like, yeah, no, I'm at the bottom. Help? That's really all there is to it. Now, that does lead me into that thing that Josh was saying. Remember what Josh was saying, how a lot of people think Cold War ranks matches in such a way to where like you can win a few, but then when you start losing, you like every game you're going to be matched with people that you're just below until you quit and relaunch the game. Now, I think, in my opinion, if that's the way people are saying it's going, I think it could be a simple ranking issue, as it's trying to see where you are at, but it never can figure it out. So like, oh, you beat this level of players, let's put you up here, and it just never takes you back down, and that's just a glitch if that's really happening that way.
Yeah.
Since then, I've played several games, and it's just like, oh, I've lost 2, but then I make like a crazy comeback in the third match. Also, just another, not really to delve into it, but its new competitive mode also bans over a third of its guns.
Yeah.
Which is like, meh. I guess competitive mode, they go more strict with what guns, because some guns in multiplayer are just OP, such as the MP5, which is why I use it, because it's fun. Steam's Chinese version is finally out, but it only has 53 games and no community features.
It's like I'm about to be the word limited somewhere.
Yeah.
Godspeed.
So, after years of uncertainty, Steam China is finally here. It's a version of Steam exclusive to those living in mainland China that only sells games that have been properly licensed by the Chinese government. At first glance, the main store page looks like a regular Steam, with the language set to simplified Chinese, obviously. There's a carousel of recommended games to try, a list of bestsellers and hotly anticipated upcoming games. Look a little closer though, and you'll see that the Steam China lacks the things that, from our perspective, make Steam what it is. Lots of games and a community to tie everything together. And it shows this little clip from Jiffy Cat. And it quite literally has a store page, and usually on our Steam, you can scroll down for almost an infinite amount of time. You'll get like crazy amounts of games reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This one just stops. It gives you a hard stop. It's like, nah, you good? And then at the very top, our Steam has multiple different like tabs. This one just has like your store, browse, and help or something. It's so funny. I mean, it's sad, but it's like, really? People just turn on a VPN. Get real Steam. Go ahead and fly through it. Hearthstone is getting a big shakeup with a new core set and classic format, which is a headline. So new cards are coming to Hearthstone, which is good. I enjoy Hearthstone. Out of most Blizzard games, I enjoy Hearthstone, Overwatch, and Diablo the most. Outer Worlds may be getting a expansion soon. Tencent buys a piece of Arma, developer Bohemia Interactive. Nothing new there. Tencent will own all game companies, guaranteed.
Not if EA has something to do about it terribly.
And why
That'll be the game wars. It's going to be the great game wars between EA and Tencent fighting each other.
I just know Tencent from the meme. Like Trey showed me like 4 years ago. He was like, "Bro, look at like Google Tencent and look what they own." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what is all of this?"
Mm-hmm.
They own pieces of a lot of different things. I think I've read them out to you before.
Yeah, I've seen them. Their names pop up with a bunch of stuff. I think when they acquired like a few licenses a few years back.
Oh. Well, last thing I got. Resident Evil Village locations have been mapped out thanks to a collector edition bonus. Looks like a really cool looking map. I see something that reminds me of something from your game, your D&D game. There is a pond with two walls, like two dams, keeping the water in, and a giant fish in it.
Yeah.
Reminds me of your game, because there's also a river on one side of it, I believe. They stole your stuff, Colin.
I just think outside of the box, and people are just catching up. It's fine.
All right, nothing too crazy there, so I'll end that there. Yep.
Okay.
Anything that you would like to talk about D&D wise, or you got anything else?
I have a few different topics I'll just touch on real quick. For those who have that nostalgia for childhood shows that are coming back. So it seems as if they're going to have a Powerpuff Girls movie. Or, sorry, not movie, but live action show. The treatment was going to be from Diablo Cody, but it's going to get a Riverdale treatment.
Riverdale?
Exactly. So it's going to have a Riverdale treatment, which is very funny because there's three actresses. Let's say Camilla Mercedes, Madeline Pesch, and then Lily Reinhardt dressed up like Powerpuff Girls, like 2020. And so it's very funny that they have this and then now this is coming out. So yeah, supposedly it's going to get some kind of live action Riverdale-esque treatment. So I don't know what that means. What that might look like. I guess gritty and angsty.
Yeah, Sabrina, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is in the same universe as Riverdale.
Yes, a lot of the actors were upset that there wasn't a crossover, and they're saying there needs to be a crossover.
There was going to be a crossover, if it was going to go for another season.
Mm-hmm.
But even though you won't get that there, I believe they're going to do some sort of crossover in the form of a comic book.
Yeah, but like that's the thing about like the comic. So it's like Marvel would do like for the MCU would do like these official crossover tie-in comic books, and they'll have things happening, and then it doesn't go over. Like it's like this is true in canon, and then stuff will happen in the movies. They go, oh no, that wasn't true in canon. What you're saying is not true or canon. So I don't know. It's very interesting. Some people just want to see that live action. I mean, that's the way that they consume their fandom. Let's see the other news. Just like I'll go to like just movies and so forth. So like, Tom Holland is very famous for not just being Spider-Man, but also leaking information accidentally.
Yeah, I know. Yes, I love it.
To the point where Marvel and Disney purposely tell him the wrong stuff. They give him different scripts. They have him shoot scenes that he's like, no. So fans were like, hey, isn't Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, the two Spider-Men, are going to be in the movie? He's like, no, they're not. Because those are really big parts. And I think I would have known about that because I've been shooting for 8 weeks. But then again, Disney sometimes does that. Oh no. So he doesn't know. He's like not sure about the people are like, yeah, it just broke him. He doesn't understand what reality is anymore. He's like, huh, maybe.
There's multiple clips on YouTube of like the guy who plays Doctor Strange, I believe. Doesn't he like stop
Benedict
making stuff?
Yeah.
I believe multiple people do, but they're kind of just like I think Tony Stark did at one point. Not or Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, he. They all just know, they've been informed. They're like, no, don't do that.
And it's very funny because was it the Far From Home trailer? He's like, he was tasked to tell everyone, hey, there's spoilers from Endgame in the Far From Home trailer. So it's just like, oh, they got you doing like community service kind of thing. Let's see. Also on like the realms of like reboots, The Wizard of Oz is getting a remake as well. That movie, I forget just how old that movie actually is. So I think it's very funny where they're like, oh, gonna make this classic. It's like technically The Wizard of Oz, on top of how old it is, it technically wasn't a success as well. It gained its success later on.
I can see that. Honestly, probably unpopular opinion. I don't enjoy The Wizard of Oz.
No, I mean it's not an unpopular opinion. Like it took a while for me to sit down and watch The Wizard of Oz, and I'm still kind of like, eh. I loved Return to Oz because of its dark and creepiness, but I was a dark and creepy child, I guess.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, the Return of Oz, it's I like it so much better, and there's some stuff in there that you have to go, this is a kid's movie? What is this rated? Dark stuff, but it's good. It's a really good one. Also the new trailer for Falcon and the Winter Soldier was dropped, which shows a little bit more of like Sam's and Bucky's relationship, like how they treat each other, and it's kind of that buddy cop movie kind of thing, that whole like 48 Hours, Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte kind of feel. Is that the same movie? I don't know. I know there's a cop movie with those two in it. I mean, it's just kind of that feel, the old gruff guy, because technically Bucky is like 100 and something years old. So the old like gruff veteran who's like, I'm getting too old for this, and then Sam being the Eddie Murphy-esque character. But it looks good. The action looks phenomenal, and it's very, very interesting because not knowing what's going to happen on the end of WandaVision, seeing WandaVision's kind of like it's subdued, slow burn kind of thing, and then go to this where it's just like people getting kicked in the chest and car chases and explosions. You're like, okay, this is where we're going with that. And then at least with the two, well, there's 3 animes. The anime news, Hunter x Hunter. They're saying they're prepared for that anime to come back. All the voice actors are getting ready for Hunter x Hunter. And I think it's perfect because the other side of that is that, of course, those who watch like Black Clover, that's going to be ending in March.
Mm.
A lot of fans of that. I call it Shonen Jump the anime, but some people do love it. So with that ending,
I like it. It's not the best. I like it though. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And then there's the other one. There's of the Yokohama Gundam. You ever seen that one?
Nope.
So they built a true to size Gundam.
Oh yeah, that yeah. I do know that. I just didn't know that. If you said the giant IRL Gundam, I would have been like, yeah.
The Gundam in Yokohama. So there's these pictures that surfaced, and they look like they're box art or CG or like beautifully drawn paintings for some kind of like something like Gundam. And it's like, no, this is a Japanese art photographer who took these pictures. And they don't look real. Like they really honestly look like they're some kind of cartoon, like even to the point of like you can go like watercolor and ink, but it was just how he caught the light. So it was even to a point where he's not like altering it after to that degree. He's just kind of catching it correctly. Gorgeous work. But yeah, yes, there's I can link you those, but it's dumbfounding just how they look. Now it's like I don't know, that speaks more true to the photographer, more true to the constructors of that one, or to Japanese art. And then lastly, going into the ideas of Dungeons and Dragons. So there's a Dungeons the Dungeons and Dragons movies, right? It's coming out sometime.
Did not know that part.
Yeah, sometime within the near future.
Okay.
So they have it where Chris Pines from Star Wars, or not Star Wars, Star Trek, Wonder Woman. You know him?
Nope.
Okay, I can show you a picture.
I probably know who he is from what he looks like. I just don't know the name.
Yeah, so I mean, if you see him, like, oh, this guy's Chris Pines. So he played Captain Kirk in Star Trek, so he's going to be in the Dungeons and Dragons movie. So now they've mentioned Michelle Rodriguez, so from like Resident Evil and Fast and Furious and Reassignment. Tough, angry chick who can kick butt. So she's going to be in the movie, and then Justice Smith. So from like Jurassic Park, or was it Jurassic World and Detective Pikachu. So he's also going to be in the movie. As who? I'm not too sure. My thing is, I don't want them to make him a thief character. I don't want to be a rogue, and I don't want him to be like a halfling. Those are the two the two caveats, I feel.
Well, so let me just say this without giving any spoiler, right? I think this is for D&D. There's 2 things I want to say. The game, like my game, the combat they're about to get in, I think they're really going to enjoy it. I think it's going to be one of those situations like the Drider fight in your game, where they're really going to have to sit there and think the best course of action.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's going to be one of those moments, because you know the Naupshni. You know how daunting it looks to be based on its like stats or whatever.
Yes.
So I think that I also think that depending on how everything goes, I could be getting a cool sound bite from your next game. And if I do, I'm going to play it on stream.
Oh, dude. Okay.
That's all I have to say on that.
I'll say I'm very interested to see where it goes.
What I've been scheming, because I'm a schemer.
Well, that's fine, because I mean, there's a thing that I do with my NPCs, especially the ones that have become more like forefront, is that they have sets, not like goals and whatever, but some do, but more the ideas of like their ideals and their ways of thought and so forth, their quirks, and so characters either finding ways to mesh with their personalities or go against their personalities or so forth is always interesting for me to see. It prompts me to think not as, call it the DM, but more as character A from place B and how they speak X. What do they think? What is good for them and their lives as they think they live? Which is a very deep thing to just say. They're simulated lives because they don't know they're in games. But that idea of like, how do they proceed when it comes to a character saying a certain thing? And it's not more just like, oh, well, I want this for this character more than the character going, no, I want this for myself in a way.
So, with that, let me ask you this. If you put yourself in this, like, my character's shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
From what you know about him, what do you think he's going to ask for from the giant, chaotic, evil red dragon? Well, not, I guess ask for is like, that's all he can do in a way, is ask for information, ask for this, ask what the dragon wants.
Yeah.
Kind of, because he doesn't know a lot about him. So, in that way, if you put yourself in what you know about my character, what do you see?
I mean, I can't really say, and I think in that aspect, there's it's. So I tell people that there's times I can watch a trailer to a movie, and I can just deduce everything that's going to happen in the movie or know who the bad guy is or so forth. And so there's been times where, like, even with me watching WandaVision now, there's times where if there's a movie I like, I will shut it off. I'll turn off the gears when it comes to figuring things out. And so what it does is it causes a more honest and genuine reaction. Like, so me as a thousands-year-old ancient red dragon, and you think of like what a stubborn old person is. Now think of what a stubborn old evil person is. Now think of what a 1,000-year-old stubborn old evil red dragon, what that means when he hears stuff that he's not ready for. Or he might think, you know what I mean? So I think in that concept. It's like Suthril with the bell. Like, didn't want to know what the wishes were because it was more to like what he can do and what steps he had to take. But again, was he ready for everything to come up?
I want to have a throwback to that bell, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a moment, because you remember I was the one that it was like forfeited to make the wish.
Yes.
There was a moment in my mind where I was gonna say, give this wish to Malos, the giant red ancient evil dragon.
Jeez. Well,
There was just that moment, and I was like, if I do this, I feel like I will be killed by my teammates.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? That's a very interesting concept. Because I mean, like, it's very interesting also thinking about what you now know of what was put in place for his safety, Suthrill's safety, but then thinking back to them talking about, oh, why don't we just wish him to be weakened or hurt, or you know what I mean? Like the scheming, when it was like the conniving scheming against Suthrill.
Yeah.
So, because that would have meant... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I liked the ideas for that, right? I knew instantly scheming. I was like, this is going to be like one of those things where it's a genie wish. It's not going to go the way you ask.
Yeah.
It's got to be, there's something to this. He wouldn't just give it to us for no reason. He's our enemy in a way. I was like, that's probably not going to work. But again, going back to that, at that point in time, our negotiator was stubborn and had to make the choice himself.
I mean, there is a sadistic side of me of just the thought of like, if they made the wish of some kind of ill will befalling Suthrill.
Yeah.
And then plucking the bell for it to come to fruition, and then just staring there in silent office as Suthrill's like, oh, that's your play. What nightmare would have befell to come out of that? Like, seeing the alleyway situation, now it's everyone in one room trying to figure out how to escape and or kill each other.
Yeah. I can see that. I'm kind of glad that I was the one who made that wish because that didn't happen.
Yeah.
They were just like, Brielle breaks in. Do you know her? Nah, you good. We leaving now.
I've never seen that girl before. Bye.
Okay, bye.
It's very funny. I forget which platform this has popped up before, where someone's like talking about derailing, and my stance is on a derailed game. Like, or I've made it, like, I've said it multiple times how I feel about derailed games and so forth, or OP players, or not players but characters. But someone's just like, yeah, I gave my players a wish spell, and then this is what happened. Dungeons and Dragons in the spell list, they've made it with ideas of keeping the DM sane. So the wish spell doesn't necessarily, you can do the whole like monkey's paw, bad genie, so forth. But there have been DMs that have just like, here's a wish spell, and there was like, I want 6 Vorpal blades and a dragon's whore, and just the most amount of like nonsense they can wish, kind of thing. But I always like to, I was bragging before that, it's like how I've given my players a wish spell before, and they've made correct wishes, I'd say. I won't say the right wish, but they made correct wishes. And then this comes up against, it's like, now I can say that I've given my players the wish spell twice. Granted, one is weaker, but 2 wish spells, and yet they have not abused it more than utilized it. So.
What was the right wish?
For the bell or for the desert?
They made a wish in the desert?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. That's something new to me.
You can always talk to Artorias' character about Little Tote. So there is a abandoned temple, and there's a 3-eyed god. Some think that 3-eyed god is also connected to the god that made the trickster coin. Maybe, maybe not. He didn't find it there, but there's another god that's connected, a goddess. And one of the puzzles they had to solve is by turning the dials to spell either her name or what it does, like wilt and wish and different ones. So they stopped on wish, and they had a wish. And whatever the wish is what will be granted upon them. So at the time, they're trying to find someone. So it's like, I wish we can find this person. And so the statue kind of like dissolves and turned into this little floating totem with a pink glowing eye, vaguely human, and it would just drive them in the right direction. And after it was
here. Oh, yeah.
No, it shrank in size and became almost like the size of like a keychain, maybe a little bit bigger. And Artorias took it because he named it Little Tote, as for Little Totem. And so
That sounds like something Cody would do. Yo, Little Tote, where you at?
Like, oh, Little Tote. I mean, it had no combat prowess. It didn't do anything other than literally lead them in the right direction.
Do you think it? I wonder if it still leads them in the right direction. They're just not using it.
Ooh, that's super philosophical, my man. Well, that's some food for thought.
I don't know if he's still in the chat, but maybe if you were using Little Tote last session, we would have gotten somewhere faster.
I think you've made it the right amount. I think it was the right pacing.
It was
for that.
I just like trolling him.
Especially when you weren't expecting to see previously stated ancient red dragon.
Yeah, I was like, yo, can you just teleport me? It may be Gion. Gion, you want to come? Yeah, okay. Maybe, Gion too, to this ancient red dragon, Algis, that town. We can get there from there. He's like, yeah, okay. I'm like, oh, I didn't expect to get this far. I was so caught off guard by like, just, yeah, I can do that. That's why I was like blanking out on everything. I was like, oh my god, I didn't plan this through. This was a very spur of the moment question. Usually my spur of the moment questions get answered with a hard no.
Only reinforcing the occasional yes when no was expected. I feel like that one was a very enlightening and fun session.
It was very fun.
I think because I followed the pattern like combat and then RP. Well, technically this time it was combat, RP.
Hopefully there will be resurrection.
Combat.
No. No, I need a resurrection before that, please.
Yeah, so it'd be very interesting that idea. Them like it is very funny just with Artorias' character, well, the player Cody of Artorias' character, where he's like, I want a zombie. Find zombie. Zombies don't really have that much stats. A bunch of ghouls made a very great decision to subjugate a ghoul, control undead, gets it. Amazing stats in comparison to a zombie. Then immediately like, I gotta kill it. Like, what are you doing? Funny scene where they figure out that ghouls can speak.
Just, I'm gonna name you Dale Earnhardt. That's not my name. What? It's just everyone freaking out.
Oh man. and then the I don't know if you were in the room at the time, but about Melanie and the other orphans at the mansion.
I don't think I was.
So right now, Melanie hasn't gone outside yet. Although the kids have gone to the sunlight and enjoyed being running around the sun, but Melanie, like, she's not going to go outside until Damocles is back. So she's waiting for him, like at the window, for him to get back, and you see Noah's face, like, oh. He's like, I remember.
We walked back. Yep. 5 months pass. Hasn't left the house at all.
No. And then Noah recites, "It's not a good D&D session unless you make Noah cry." Like that's just
it's
good story.
It's great.
So we did go over. Now, was there anything like, well, I guess I'll still follow tradition to it. So when it comes to our last segment of what are you watching, reading, playing, listening to, was there anything that you want to mention?
keeping up on all of the anime, like just all of it, all the new ones, just everything. What's the English name for this? So, caught up with a newer one. Its name in English is The Hidden Dungeon. Only I Can Enter. It's named that for an actual good reason. That's the like sentence he has to state to actually get into the hidden dungeon.
It's like an open sesame.
Yeah. That's the one where the guy has like the headache but you can talk to like the old sage that answers anything. That's how he found it. There's more things that it's okay. I would rank it as a high C, low B tier anime. And that tier goes on like the S ranking system. It's not bad, but it's not the worst, or it's not the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just average. Could change. I just find every episode is solved by the same solution. So it gets kind of repetitive out of the 5 episodes I've seen. Attack on Titan, new episode came out. That's okay. I've already read it, so if it doesn't have combat in it, it's not as good to me. On that note, Attack on Titan, the final 2 chapters are going to be releasing in April, from what I saw. Or the last 2 chapters are coming, the final one in April. So I got my answer to that previous statement that Attack on Titan isn't finished yet, so I wonder if it's going to end off differently. Maybe it won't. ReZero. Can't wait for tomorrow's episode. I feel like it's going to be dark. I know it's going to be dark. I have my whole theory that Subaru is somehow related to Flugel, which is a past version. There's like a cycle every 200 years, blah, blah, blah. That's cool. Stone Wars, cool. Good. Jujutsu Kaisen, I want to watch the next episode. I want to see the main character fight. I don't want to see the side characters. The side characters in Jujutsu Kaisen, while they're interesting, I think when the main character has something going on, they're just not. They don't compare, in my opinion. But they can always change. Mushoku Tensei, I believe it's really good. China doesn't know what they're talking about.
Oh, China.
China doesn't like it because it's immoral. That's what we've determined, or Khaled has read and relayed to me. I wouldn't want to go into it because it has a little bit of spoilers, but if you watch it, you'll understand why, I think. But they think kids are watching it. And it's very much so not a child anime. Reading? Still in the hunt for manga. I've actually been reading a lot of Wall Street Bets Discord stuff, which is strange to say. I actually got into the Wall Street Bets Discord. So I've been reading up on everything that is in there. Just learning about different crypto and stocks, trying to see what they're doing. Promised Neverland, that's okay, but I haven't read anything. Still listening to the what's that? The pirate thing that I said? The Longest Johns.
Yes.
Also listening to the Jolly Rogers. Also listening to different like Hamilton songs and the Arctic Monkeys and stuff like that. Reading. Wait.
You're in manga.
Gaming. No, I haven't read any manga. Playing. I am getting ready I haven't been playing much. Played a little WoW. I'm sort of on a gaming hiatus until Thursday night when I start a 24-hour live stream. So if you would like to join anytime from 12 a.m. Thursday night, I guess, maybe Friday morning would be better to say, to 12 a.m. Friday night, Saturday morning, I will be playing games all in that 24-hour range, maybe even ranking stuff, doing things other than just gaming. Trying to talk to chat, grow the channel. That's all I got to say.
So myself, short and sweet for the most part. WandaVision is what I'm watching. If I say that fourth episode, I've been joking that it was spicy, and it seems like the internet agreed with me. So the fourth episode was spicy, then the fifth episode was just fire. Like there's so much stuff in there that you're like, oh my goodness, and it's just constant and just even up until credits, it's just great. Well, up until second credits, I should say. If you watch the episode, then you'll understand. Yeah, like I'm very excited to see what it holds. Again, I'm not trying to overthink it or deduce it. Like once it's out, then I'll go back and start trying to break it apart. But been enjoying that. Watching Konosuba again. I love that series. It's stupid in the best ways. Anime. Playing D&D for the most part. Haven't really picked any video games up or any mobile games that I'm interested in getting into. I think when I finally feel to get a JRPG, then I'll look into one or find an emulator or something of that nature. But nothing's really stayed. I might just wait until I rehabilitate my tablet or get a laptop. Listening to The Longest Johns for reasons that shall become more obvious later.
No. Denied.
And then it's just a lot of like different Celtic, Gaelic, Scandinavian music, some folk music in that aspect, some instruments that are involved. But just those more inspiration for what I'm like writing and so forth. And then reading, it's a crapshoot. Sometimes I'm reading just random articles to like there's nothing substantial that I'm reading right now, I think. That's not completely true. So Chio-san. So it's still reading the weird manga every once in a while about the high school girl that's a super gamer, which sometimes it's a little it doesn't hit close to home with me, but knowing all the gamers around me, like I'm like, oh, they're calling you guys out.
Okay, wait. I have a question, not to interrupt you. Is there something that they say that calls me out from what you hear?
Just the concept of like, ooh, this mouse right here, this keyboard is this mouse is perfect and ergonomic for this. Oh, it has the the RGB.
I feel insulted. I feel like you're making fun of my keyboard building stuff again, and I don't like it.
Like, oh, the lighting. Oh man, has all the lighting effects on this mouse. Oh, this is definitely a game mouse. Things like that. And then just, I know a few guys that drink no alcohol but play so many games they wake up with like, oh god. It's like, have you been drinking? No, I've been playing. I had a raid. Oh man, I won't do that again. Like, are you sure you're not talking about alcohol? I don't drink. Okay, so bless you, cat. But yeah, but it's
jeez. You can still hear it. It's so cute.
So Benny is named Benny because his real name is Benedict because he sneezes a lot. You good? You good? I love your face. Oh, but yeah. But yeah, that's really it for me.
Well, I would like to say, because I think it's funny, for context, to anyone that watches on YouTube, Facebook, wherever. The reason why he says the keyboard thing is because I recently got in to building keyboards. And I know a lot about, I keep up with all the new computer stuff, like equipment parts and stuff like that, headsets, these things. But when I got into building keyboards, there was a week or two maybe where I was just like, look at this keycap set. Just look at how cool that stuff looks. Just be in a call with Josh and Kyle, and they'd be like, oh my god, you have a problem. Stop linking this.
I was pretty sure the next call that we were all three in was going to be an intervention for you.
Possibly. That's why I learned to hide it.
The key, no pun intended, is not to stifle someone's passion. It's just to point out the problems. If your friends have an obsession, make sure they grow. But if they have an addiction, you go, hey, stop that. As long as it's constructive. As long as it's a constructive addiction, I don't think it's an addiction at all. But it's fun to harass you about it.
It is fun. I was getting enjoyment out of it too. That's why I kept doing it. It's like, ha ha ha. I felt something on my leg. It was just my headset cable. I thought it was a bug. So
what if it's worse? What if you thought it was your headset cable, or you thought it was a bug? It's like, oh, it's no headset cable, and then you looked out, it's just black hair, and then the grudge face. Like, well, I like to just say, have a good night. I'm getting off this. Jeez.
Not sure if I'll be here next week.
It seems like, ladies and gentlemen, I have myself a Japanese curse I'm still with.
Would you like for me to do the outro?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. This has been the 31st episode of the PiP Podcast. If you enjoyed it, please leave a follow. If you would like to watch a previous episode of the PiP Podcast, you can find it on Oni Central at youtube.com. Or youtube.com at Oni Central, or YouTube or Facebook.com at the PiP Podcast. And if you would like notifications when we are live, make sure you hit the bell next to the follow button. As well as, I hope people will come join me from the viewership of the PiP Podcast Thursday night when I do my 24-hour live stream. Maybe it won't be that night, but sometime in that 24-hour period. I'll be doing games, stuff like that. I have some plans. And yep, we live stream every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. And every Friday, or every other Friday, same time, but with a guest. And that would be this Friday, we will have a guest. Anything else you would like to say, or that I missed?
No, it's going to be very interesting, because it's going to be this week you're going to do 24 hours.
Yes, Thursday, 12 a.m., or Thursday night, Friday morning, 12 a.m.
So are you going to, I guess you're going to just cut into, you'll cut to do PiP, and then go back into...
No. It'll end at the end of the PiP, because the end of the PiP will be at 12 a.m. Friday night, Saturday morning.
That's what I'm saying. Like the PiP will be a part of this streaming.
Yeah, the PiP will be a part of it. It'll just be the end of it. So it's going to be hard to do a pre-call.
I've never talked to a zombie before. This will be interesting.
I mean, I've stayed up for days in a row. It won't be that hard. It'll be hard to keep talking, but I don't think it'll be hard to stay awake. Well, alrighty. That'll be it.